Oh,
Sorry, I was just trying to start it. I forgot it automatically zooms, but or record.
it's really good and it's fast and it's the second start. You're mental. I just figured out really small. So let's just check and see, even if you could do half the way. Right. No. I don't know. We should just check in with them and see if
I thought we knew.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
It's just, and if he can't, he may just said that and then go, well, really, I don't know if I can do, so.
Right, because this is.
Right. Right, which is exactly what we need. I'm just hoping we can get a little from Earl, like free, or some slivers.
Right, exactly.
Okay. I don't think.
But I gotta get, so we can do it.
These are old. This is 49.
Yeah.
Then we're getting caught up. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, they got a bunch of that.
We don't have our, but it's, well, I know, so we just need to, I know, it's like, that little game, has 15 squares, you keep moving them around and never get in the way of it, you know what I'm talking about? That's what are like this right now. And you got it work.
I think that one's wrong. It's 6:32.
Okay, let's go.
All right, we will get this meeting started at 6:30. Can you go ahead and do the roll call?
Ms. Covert here,
Here.
Ms. McGee is here, or Dr. Covert, I'm sorry. Ms. McGee, Mr. Chapman, Ms. McCarthy, Ms. Kuby is out for medical reasons, and Mr. Hempstead is at his seat. And our attorney, Mr. Sprout, sorry.
We'll go ahead and stand for the president.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, before we get started on the public business of the agenda, we do have a resolution to read. I would be looking for a motion to accept and a second. I'm going to read it out loud and then we'll go ahead and look for that motion. Whereas council wishes to rescind resolution number 2024-14 in its entirety. Whereas council strives to work together as an elected body without disruptive, non-productive behavior, it is therefore resolved by the council of the town of Mineral that resolution 2024-14 is rescinded in its entirety.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And so we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Hempstead? Yes.
Yes.
Let it read that it was unanimous. Everyone on council has decided to rescind 2024-14, and we will work together. Moving forward into adoption of the agenda, have we all had an opportunity to review the agenda and move to approve? I have a so moved and a second.
Second.
And a roll call vote. Also, this time, Dr. Clover?
Yes.
Awesome. Let it show that it was unanimous to approve the agenda as presented.
One comment. I noticed on the previous agenda, we had an item for council to speak. And it isn't on this agenda. Is it still going to be that way if the council gets a chance to speak?
So we'll put council comment back in February. But for the organizational meeting, we're just trying to get through a heavy agenda.
Understand that.
Any other comments on the agenda? All right, so we will open the floor to public comment. I want to remind the public and the council that we are here to perform the business of the town. So we want to make sure we're maintaining some decorum and some professionalism in the way that we present our concerns and our issues with council. We're all here because we care about the town of Mineral. I've spoken with each member of council in the last several weeks individually about restoring that commitment and that passion to our town and the people of our town. So I impart upon everyone sitting in this room tonight to remember that we are all part of the same team. We're all here to see this town succeed and move successfully into tomorrow. So remember that disorderly conduct will be met with dismissal from the building. And that is based on state code 18.2-415. And I have it printed here for anyone who would like a copy of that disorderly conduct in public places code at the state level. On that note, we'll open it up to public comment.
Ms. Longley.
First.
Mhm.
This was written a little bit ago.
She has her name in her.
I have some copies for you guys.
I got it.
She needs to. Say her name and address just for the record. Yeah.
Joanna Von Arb, Fredericks Hall Road. This is to the town council. The town of Mineral finds itself at a crossroads, and it's time we set aside the petty distractions and focus on the critical issues that define our future. Instead of wasting time debating about town manager's salary, let's pause and reflect on how much you would expect to earn for the monumental task of modernizing our town codes, zoning, and accounting systems. Tackling our infrastructure challenges while publicly addressing the town's dirty laundry. All including the Attorney General to see. This requires more than thick skin. It requires a coat of armor. We need to do better. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but the 14 home lot remains a very popular topic in town, so I want to address it head on. The council chose not to accept accountability for this controversial project, yet it was clearly aligned in the comprehensive plan for all that voted to incorporate, specifically under Housing 1.6, where it states encourage missing middle housing such as two-family dwellings, manufactured homes, and modular homes. Every member of this council was fully aware of this, and go back and read the transcripts and watch the videos. And avoiding accountability for the decisions that you made only deepened the public's mistrust and undermines their credibility. So if y'all go back and review those transcripts and those videos, you'll see that you did know about it. The disagreements, personal opinions about fellow council members have no place here. You took an oath to serve the town of Mineral. You committed to acting with integrity and professionalism. The fact that a civility pledge had to be incorporated is shameful, and even more troubling that some members are still non-compliant. The pettiness and lack of decorum do not reflect leadership. They reflect dysfunction. And I'm glad to see that everybody's been working on that, because I do see difference. And thank you. Mineral has fewer than 600 residents, yet the time and effort it took to draft a comprehensive plan and now being ignored. Where's the action? What progress has been made? This year, we need leadership focused on completing the goals that were created, fostering collaboration with the residents. I'm calling you to achieve measurable results this year. We shouldn't spend so much time wasting on non-town related stuff and people getting along and getting work done, getting mission accomplished. Mineral has so much potential, but it requires real leadership. Leadership that promotes unity, collaboration, amongst residents and businesses. Leadership that prioritizes supporting and uplifting our local businesses. If we don't actively support them, why would they stay? Why wouldn't they move to other parts of Louisa County? We need businesses here. We want their income. They want their tax revenue. We want the businesses here. We have to be kind to them and we have to incorporate them and think of them. When outsiders see dysfunction in the town, they don't separate it from the county. The behavior tarnishes not only the town's reputation, but the entire county's. We need to address these critical issues this year. Hiring practices to ensure they are fair, transparent, and designed to attract the best talent for the town's future. 2, updating the town charter, including provisions to allow property owners in the town, not just residents, to serve on the town council. They play a big part in this town and they get no say. And it looks like we're having a hard time keeping town council on town council. So let's have some more prominent people that could want to be part of this and help resolve some of these issues that we're having. Promoting unity, stop the infighting and that hateful behavior and focus on what's best for the town. Sometimes this is difficult as we have pride, we have ego, and we have feelings, but we have to overcome this. Completing goals that were created to ensure the comprehensive plan is carried out effectively and visibly in 2025. We need to see progress. I challenge you as council members to rise above personal differences, fulfill the roles that you are elected to carry out, form committees to help accomplish the goals outlined in the comprehensive plan, work with residents and businesses, and imagine what we could achieve together. Fundraising to beautify the town, collaborating with businesses to improve parks, engaging artists to create signs for parks and that match the style of our own town signs. Even our town crest was made by a local artist. These efforts would show what's possible when we prioritize over division. To my fellow residents and business owners, I encourage you to attend town meetings at the municipal building and let your voices be heard. Remind this council that you expect better. The circus must come to an end. Together, we can restore pride in Mineral and create a future that we can be proud of. To the town council members who are actively working on representing the town with integrity, and for all the critical work that has been done to address different situations in town, your effort has not gone unnoticed, and they serve as a foundation for the progress that we need to see moving forward. In conclusion, I ask all residents to the town of Mineral to hold the town council accountable for completing 2024's comprehensive plan. Respectively, Savannah Von Art.
Thank you.
Ms. Hart.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner.
Vicky Hart, 311 Club Road, Louisa, Virginia. I am a member of the Louisa Town Council. I'm a councilwoman, and also I've lived in this county for 45 years. Mineral is always been near and dear to my heart because I am a member of the VFW, me and my husband. So I'm here every other week at least and come through this area. What I am here to talk to you about is one thing that you have never considered and probably should consider. The town of Mineral and the town of Louisa are the only two towns in this county. There are things that we can do together that may grant us economy of scale and also be a service to both of us and to both of our communities. So I want you to consider communicating with the town and vice versa, so that we can take advantage of that. So I just wanted to offer you my services. I'm free because I'm a councilwoman. But I'd be happy to assist you with anything that you might need, and vice versa. I may come to you and say, hey, do you have an idea? What software do you use for this? Maybe it's cheaper if we buy it together. So I'm not promising you anything. I'm just telling you that there is an opportunity and we can work together in some things. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
I feel like I have a theme. Debbie Moon, 232 Mineral Ave.
I put together a year of review for you. I wanted to let you know what you've completed, not completed, and then suggestions for moving forward. So what has been completed, appointed a Board of Zoning Appeals, resignation, termination of the mayor, 5 council members, a clerk, an attorney, a town manager, 3 people in the DMV, and a treasurer. You put together a zoning administrative ordinance, comprehensive plan, zoning code and PUD updates and resolutions, new financial software. Mineral Historical Foundation ended their contract. We hope to see them again soon. Little League State Tournament, success of the Farmers Market, Hometown Parade, Christmas event, Clayton Homes Development, a bench added to the cemetery, lead and copper pipe inventory and a grant, raised water rates 29%, and a contract on the old school. What wasn't completed, Miller's Market Cup, the Whitlock Family Park structure, including the sign and a building door. Public Relations Committee wasn't formed, fiscal year 22 and 23 audits, transparency with accounts and all spending, hometown hero flags, not all the leaks. I know you're doing a great job on that though. Annual festival in the park, ribbon cutting ceremonies, meeting live stream, business spotlight, and 2 new businesses. I do realize a lot of this is on the agenda. Kudos. 2025. The town of Mineral used to be nicknamed the Gateway to Lake Anna. The Lake Anna Resort will have a restaurant, a 105-key hotel, and 124 condos. Cut along at Lake Anna will feature almost 900 homes. With all the development happening by the lake, why isn't the town capitalizing on this? Thank you for the preamble on this. The Louisa County fiscal year 2026 budget process kicks into high gear on Thursday night as the Planning Commission begins its annual review of big ticket capital requests. Think funding for new fire stations, schools, recreation facilities, and more. For the town, tourism, ballpark, water infrastructure, maybe a new well, a community center. According to the code, the reports to the committees are given at every town council meeting. This hasn't been happening. There's 9 standing committees listed in the town code. To do a better job in getting things done, the town council should implement the comprehensive plan. The town has identified 8 goals to support the town in achieving this vision. In my opinion, each goal should be assigned to a committee. I do realize this is on the agenda. I wrote this beforehand, so you're already a step ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Neal.
That's all I have.
We'll go ahead and close public comment.
Since you're not going to have to speak, I'd like to have a short statement I'd like to read as part of public comments, if you'll allow it.
Will council allow it? It's a vote of council. It's
We
not a-
can't make, I mean, just tell you, if we make public comment, we give up a right to return to the dais. Isn't that what once we become an audience member, we don't come back. So that's our convention.
I would like to know if you and I talked
I'm
about.
not forbidding you, I'm just giving you that.
You and I talked about this. My thing is that shouldn't even be in the thing because that's taken away our rights as a citizen to stand up there and talk. And that part of the, what y'all have in this plan, and I just got here, so I'm not, whatever, I don't agree with it. You can't take away our rights as a citizen to be able to get up there and talk and then not have comments for the councilman.
So are we comfortable allowing Mr. Hempstead to make his statement as if it were a public comment, which means it's not a back and forth? The comment happens and then we move on. Are we comfortable with that as a council?
Yeah, we just have to, if we're going to do it for Mr. Hempstead, we have to do it for everybody on council. So we're going to go back to where we allow us to make public comment.
I think that you
I'm
can't,
comfortable with that.
you can't take our rights away as a citizen, even though we are sitting on council.
Right.
And that should all altogether be taken out of the bylaws. It's the bylaw, right? That should be taken out.
Local order.
Yeah, I think that we have a right to.
I think there's a distinction between us, yes, we are residents, us getting up and speaking on something that is different, that's not on the agenda. However, we have the opportunity to discuss the items that are on the agenda in a much more kind of comprehensive way, whereas public comment is the only opportunity for a lot of the times for anyone else to speak during our meeting. So I hear where you're coming from and I agree to a certain degree.
And you've used it and I've used it and
Yes.
she's used it.
Absolutely,
So,
but I do
yeah.
think that there should be stipulations on it. It's not an opportunity for council members to get up there and diatribe about something that's going to be discussed later on in the night or things like that. It is meant to be speaking as a resident,
That,
not as a council member, and there needs to be a distinction about that.
that's my distinction there is that if I have a concern as a citizen, like somebody comes to me and, you know, then I would want to get up there and say, this is my concern as a citizen, not as a council person.
Yeah, and I would just like to remind
Yeah.
everybody that we also have the ability to request that items get added to the agenda as well. So it is something that if it's being used, should be used. Really.
It has nothing to do with the agenda.
Yeah. Maybe we could workshop those rules and let's just go with this tonight and give you your word since you,
Want to stay there or just sit?
no.
I'm comfortable with you staying in your seat.
Okay, thank you. And this has to do with your initial rescinding. But at any rate, I just want to inform the town council members, town employees, and most importantly, the residents of Mineral, that the Commonwealth Attorney Rusty McGuire has negated criminal charges put on me as a result of my arrest stemming from council calling the deputies to remove me from my legally elected and certified seat on the Mineral Town Council. Commonwealth Attorney Rusty McGuire also stated that the council's trial was illegal and as such void. He said that I am and always have been a council member. There is a United States Supreme Court ruling that completely validates Commonwealth Attorney McGuire's opinion on the subject. It's from 1969. Last, the censure the council placed on me is also illegal. There are several United States Supreme Court rulings on this subject. The court and the law says that an elected official can be censored, which simply means that other officers can state their disapproval of something another official says, but they cannot place any restrictions on the elected person's ability to fully do the job they were elected to do. Censure is a reprimand from other members and only that. Anything more restricts the censored person from being able to perform the duties he swore to do as an elected representative of the people. In your trial, ruling to remove me from my elected position and your censor that violated United States federal and Commonwealth of Virginia law. These are serious violations and the consequences of these actions are far from over. I strongly suggest that you get a better understanding of how to govern and how to conduct yourselves to include a cessation of your almost continuous and freedom of information violating closed sections. And if you want United States Supreme Court rulings on this, I can ask Tracy, my wife, who is a paralegal, criminal paralegal, to provide them for you. She has about 100 pages of this. Last and most important, I expect all of you at this table to issue a public apology to the residents of Mineral for your abominable, illegal, tyrannical behavior. That's all. I do have one other comment about the pending land purchase. Tracy is extremely.
That's on the agenda for tonight. You have to wait till that.
I understand, but
No.
let me finish. And this is quick. Tracy's extremely competent in researching law. And if you would like her to go into closed session with us, she can explain some alternate avenues where we could get that land and not have to outlay the money that we're talking about. I think it might be beneficial.
But we can discuss that when that comes up on the agenda.
Well, the problem I'm seeing is the next council meeting is in February. And by then, most of the land purchase will have happened. And I think we ought to
It's on.
take a breath. Oh, it is on tonight?
It's in the manager's report tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And-
we'll be able to discuss it tonight when it comes up on the agenda.
Okay, the other thing is the items that you have to vote on tonight, since they were just issued at the end of last week, I think we ought to push them out the next meeting so that we all have the time to go through everything that's proposed so that we understand them and can vote intelligently.
I think that's a good discussion as we come up each item.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to close public comments. We're going to look into our first, I think this is actually our second business spotlight, with the owner of Jen's Crafters. Grace us with her presence.
Thank you so much for this. It's so exciting. So I do a little bit of a bio first. I've been down in here in Virginia for 25 years, 20 of it in Schuylkill, and I've been out here for 5. And while my profession is accountant, currently I'm working as a CFO. Accountants can be very creative, and you can look at tax returns to verify that. But I need to put my creativity into something, and I've had the good fortune to learn a lot of my art through worldwide experts. I learned glass fusing from a schoolmate from Chihuly. I learned my stained glass skills from the premier Tiffany restorer in the world. And I need to create, and there's always rabbit holes of new things that I'm going down. And I've spent 10 years doing vendor fairs and being out in the wind and the rain and the cold and tents blowing over and merchandise being ruined. And I saw the opportunity in Mineral to lease space. And then I have a twofold mission. First, to give other artists like myself, and there's a lot of them in the area, to have a space, permanent space they can lease on a month-by-month basis so that they don't have to be out there in the wind and the rain and the cold and all the non-fun aspects of being an artist / vendor. And another place, and my other mission is a place for the community to come in one place and support the artists, or in terms of classes to learn new things themselves so that they can be creative as well. And it's just been, I started coming to these meetings because I wanted to find out more about how Mineral itself promotes its businesses. And my thoughts were always, it's kind of a drive-by town. You know, we just kind of drive through. And if we had signage at the main intersection to drive some business down our way, that it would be beneficial to, you know, coffee, ice cream, hairs, everything, you know, signs that are down on the other side of the light that people who are driving down the lake don't necessarily see. But I like the location in Mineral. I like being in a small town. I'm from a small town myself. And I just like the 2 missions that I have for the artists, and there's I love it when all you people come in the store. We've got everything. There's something truly in the store for everyone, whether you need a $2 pair of earrings or a $150 piece of fused glass. There's truly something for everybody. And we're starting to pick up traffic as people get the word out. And the article helped me, so thank you. Do you have any questions?
What type of classes do you guys currently offer?
We've been doing resin classes. We've done some wreath classes, some jewelry making classes. Or I had at one point, I had instant classes. There's some supplies there that you can make a cell phone holder and paint it. You can make certain jewelry that if you just have an hour or 2 and you see something you like, I'll show you how to do it.
I've done 3 classes.
I've been so fun.
I've done the resin class with Debbie Moon. Love it.
Yeah.
Do you do stained glass?
I do. I haven't done anything recently. I've been doing more fused glass and stained glass, but I have all the supplies and
These things are wonderful.
Thank you.
So you could
Do a lot of-
possibly be a contractor for the town if we decide to
I do a
do
lot of,
something and you.
I was gonna put names on it, but I wasn't sure if I would remember everybody that's supposed to be here. So I figured it's safe and but yeah, everything can be personalized for the most part.
That's
I'll
terrific.
just go through the store.
Well, I know I've enjoyed the classes and it's been a lot of fun and I think I would recommend it. And we had talked about putting special events on the signs for our businesses. And so I guess when we get that rolling, you know, we're gonna.
Yeah, we have
Get up here.
Melissa and Julie and I and Old Rooster Box and Century Farm. I'm gonna forget everybody, but I think there's 7. We're gonna do a shop hop like we did last Valentine's Day. And
Oh, I love that.
that'll be the 13th through the 15th. And that's where you go to the stores and you just walk in and you get a little card stamped. And then when you go to all the stores, you get into a raffle for gift prices.
Nice. Okay, we'll put that on our sign.
I was gonna say, is that something we can put on our website? Do you have
We just started, it was just kind of confirmed yesterday, but we'll get together and once we get the postcards and things, we'll let you know so you can.
Be our Facebook, that'd be great. I mean, yeah, if you've got
That's really cool.
something you could send to us. that'd be
Be fantastic. We love your promotion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the town support is very important.
Thank you.
And if we can think of signage, that would be grand too.
Yeah.
I was thinking like by the Walton, there's a Walton Park sign, something there.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about the Walton sign and
That, point everybody else, where a lot of people don't even go that way, so they don't know what's down there.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Maybe you need one of those flag signs like some of the.
say like China.
Yeah.
And
Portugal and.
I mean, you go by and see that flag, big flag thing, like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
Hey,
any thoughts?
it's not bad.
It would be great. We really appreciate it. So, and we're supporting more than just me. It's a lot of the artists in the community. There's 20 artists in the store right now.
Oh,
That's great.
And all but few are local to Mineral and Louisa. There's a lot of talent in this community, and it's nice to offer them a place to sell their wares.
That's fabulous.
So stop in if you haven't been in.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you very much. All right, well, thank you, Jen. We look forward to coming out and supporting your business. I think you're an asset for the town. We love that you're here. Let's go ahead and look at the approval of minutes. The first one being August the 29th.
All right. There's a few little changes. Thank you.
The motion to approve or
Amendments,
you have
changes, they're just, let me go through this. Wait. One thing, you asked for stronger language in a section of code that was broken into permitted use and permitted conditional use, and we didn't do that.
What page?
Can we add that to old business for February? It is page 6 in the bottom, 425-5. Or, it's just. She said she was drafting definitions to resolve that, so we can do that next month. I probably did it.
Can we put, so remember.
It was wasn't that in the code as it was adopted and approved? That's what this was about.
Yeah, and we approved it as amended. Did those amendments to the wording we made?
It should have been made, yes. We
Can
would
we
not have.
update for next month? Can we put that on next month?
You want to reread the codes? They're in your code book.
Oh, they're in the code book. We
Yeah.
can pull it in the book.
Okay. Done is done. Under 425-25, I think the sentence just unfinished. because
Can you tell me
I'm
what page you're on? Sorry for.
Yeah,
Page
page 8. No, I'm just gonna give you these, Stephanie. That's just say on 5 feet and 10 feet for undeveloped, and it doesn't finish the sentence. So I think we just need to undeveloped what? And then I guess the big thing is in this whole thing, it says the mayor is making motions for a public hearing, and I think it's opening a public hearing, right? Since he's not-
Where is it at?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Every sentence.
It's opening.
Every time the mayor makes a motion, he doesn't make motions. He's just opening the public hearing. But I'm gonna give you these and you can just, you got my notes. I'll get it. Oh, here you go. It's the rest
So
of
I'll entertain a motion to approve
That's it.
as amended. Does that sound good, Michelle?
Yeah.
Do I need a motion to approve as amended?
Motion made.
Second. Seconded by Mr. Hempstead. And we'll do a roll call. Ms. McGee?
abstain, that was.
Roll call. Dr. Culver?
Yes.
Ms. Barrow? You weren't here. Mr. Hempstead?
Yes.
So we have 2 abstentions because they weren't on council. In the month of August.
Did he do that? Yes.
Am I supposed to be voting tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can vote.
Then I vote yes. And so that puts the quorum.
All right. Did we do July already?
Because we have May, June, August, and
I think we did a bunch of July. I would have to go back and see when you guys voted to approve July.
please check.
All right, so now we're looking at September 9th minutes.
Page 13, in the middle under Debbie Moon, it should say member McCarthy and not member Chapman. In the center of the page under Debbie Moon.
Met with member, no, it was me.
Council member Chapman's rescission of his or resignation. It is page 13 in the center of the page, left side,
Oh.
under Debbie Moon.
McCarthy, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was up.
Yep, that's all I got now. Name,
So a motion to approve. As amended. Made
it's the
by
same thing with
McBarrel.
those. Oh, one other thing is back in session, we don't make a motion to go. Is it a motion to come back into session or, okay. Here's this.
You're talking about coming out of the closed session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we make public the letter for Mr. McCavan? Because it said we were gonna, Councilmember Chapman would like this letter to be public once we signed it. Mr. McCavan, isn't he in the 14th? Did we make that public? Okay,
It's no longer, yeah, it's no longer under.
because I don't think I saw that letter, so, okay, cool.
Well, it's available.
It's fine, I just.
And
making
it's
sure-
not online, but it's available to
Yeah,
the
it's
public.
available.
If they want to order it or
Yeah.
request. it.
Request it.
All right, so we have the motion to approve as amended by Ms. Barrow. And the second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Colbert. Mr. Hempstead? And Dr. Colbert? Yes. All right, the next on the agenda is the December accounts paid. So if we look those over, any questions, you can direct them to the town manager.
Harrison and Johnson, is that legal? Or is that, I don't.
That's legal, that's your
Okay.
turn.
Sure. Both Rappahannock and Dominion here in the county. I said we paid them both. I'm just wondering if we have both services.
Now, like in the past, have we mentioned to approve them, or is this just?
No, this is just an update. Their bills paid, they're already paid.
Okay.
Yeah, but
We need
they're already paid.
The county of Louisa, the 13,000, what is that for?
I believe, and I'll have to verify, that's for your,
Election?
yes.
We can verify that and get back
Yep,
to council to shoot up the email. The treasurer's saying it, that's what it is. I didn't know.
Oh, yes, that's what it is.
The computer blocked whoever's in that.
do I need to look it up? No, okay, thanks, Kelly.
The treasurer confirmed it is the election.
Okay.
Any other questions on the agenda? I mean, on the bills page? Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to the Walton Park water bill. Agenda item I.
I want to say that, I've talked to a lot of people in the town, citizens, they are ecstatic that we have the fire department that we have. We are so lucky that we have all these volunteers. And with that, this resolution was written up where we will support them by paying, which we are already paying at that water bill in the fire department. And we will start paying the Walton Park water bill. So they will have no, they will have, no water bills. It will be all done by us. That's the least we can do. They're all volunteer now. There are no paid firemen there. They're all volunteer. They come out all the time.
My
He
house.
has used them. And this is something that was discussed last month. And we've been paying that water bill at the building, but this will add in the Walton Park water bill, which is $26 a month, maybe, or whatever. But in other words, we will pay all the water bill. That's the least we can do for them. Support your firemen. They need support because they are all volunteers right now. And they're with our building that was destroyed, or some of it was destroyed with the roof leak and everything. This is everybody support them, everybody support them. And with that, I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
I will second.
Second.
Council Porter, no. I want to read the resolution out
Okay.
loud and then we have our first and our second. But Nicole wanted to make a statement before, so go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, from the last meeting, I think Mayor Jarvis at the time gave me $400 to put towards the fireman's water bill. That went on to their fire account. I want everyone to know that. And their bill shows a credit for going forward. So that was taken care of. It's there, it's done. Also, we did just our own research as a town because we feel like and I know, and I respect the fire department. My dad was a volunteer fireman in Charlottesville. I respect them wholeheartedly. But as a town, we have to do our fiscal responsibility, so we went out and called the town of Louisa. We did some research to see how everyone does their water. I want that to be on record that we took it upon ourselves to do this research to see where we stood and how things were done so that we would know going forward how to handle that. It wasn't that we didn't want the water paid. It was that the park was looked at as an asset and they were having events at the park. And that's how they raise money too, is to rent out the park. So that's what we were looking at. So now here we are. And I had spoken to Ron and the mayor at the time explaining all of our diligence for the research. And so that's how this came
In
up.
your research, did you find out that Louisa's was being paid?
Louisa does pay the fire department's water bill. Yes.
So I'm going to read I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you finished?
I'm
So I'm going to read the resolution. Before I do that, though, I think that as a town, it is our responsibility to support our fire and rescue. Currently, we only have 5. Right.
The
The rest is
medics
what?
come out of.
Okay.
Right now, say roll call eventually, and it's Eric, am I right? Y'all are gonna eventually get the medics back in,
Yeah, that should be back in the next 6 months.
right? Just the medics, not the,
Correct.
okay,
The fire's not coming back.
no.
So the resolution reads, whereas the town of Mineral
Financially.
financially, we'll update that.
Yep.
Supports the water usage at Mineral Volunteer Fire Department, whereas Walton Park is an asset of the Mineral Fire Department. Whereas the usage of water at Walton Park should be paid for by the town of Mineral. It is therefore resolved by the council of the town of Mineral as follows. The town of Mineral will pay the water bill at both Mineral Fire Department Hall and at Walton Park. And I think you already made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Mr. Hempstead. And we'll start with Dr. Colbert.
Yes.
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 Fantastic.
Thank you all.
I would love, and we're gonna do committees in a bit, but I would love to see, just as an aside, the town supports the fire department in more ways. And it doesn't always mean big checks, right?
Right.
How can we help? Can the town council help with a car wash? How can we help to support? They're all volunteers. They are a not-for-profit. So, and they're gonna be the first ones at our house if something happens.
And they are very fast.
Right. So let me keep that in mind. All right, so now we are looking at bylaws. So we have had a lot of discussion about bylaws. I've had several discussions with each member of council individually over the last several weeks. I think, Michelle, you and I spoke the most recently, so this is going to be the most fresh on my mind. I think what we would like to do is table the discussion of the bylaws. One of the committees that we'll be announcing tonight is a charter and bylaw review committee. So allow that committee to kind of dig into the weeds a little bit and see what bylaws that other towns, for example, navigate off of to conduct their meetings, and why reinvent the wheel? Let's see what other municipalities are doing. So I'm going to ask the attorney, can I from Steve?
Yes, you're still a council member that has assumed the duties of the mayor of the role, so you can still make a motion.
So I motion that we table the discussion of bylaws until the committee has had an opportunity to review them. Let's say putting it on the March agenda for council to review. February is a heavy meeting. We have FOIA training in February. So it's gonna be a heavy meeting. I don't want to add another heavy item. So does March sound good to everybody?
Yes, okay.
I need a motion and a vote on that. Do I?
How you make it?
I mean, that's right. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hempstead. We'll start with Mr. Hempstead.
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
All right. So these will be, Stephanie, if you could add these to the March agenda. And we'll see the committee will review those and make a proposal. And then next up on the agenda is discussion of the Hometown Hero banners. I'm not, was that you?
Okay, I had talked with Mr. Daniels, Elmer Daniel, Travis Daniel, known by some of you, about these. We were going to get them, but because of everything that's been going on in this town, they've decided to table it. They may down the road come back to us, but again, we lose the flags because of I don't know what, but anyway, this will be the second time we've lost the flags. So
Would this be similar to what Louisa does with their
yes,
small flags?
The red, white, and blue little banners.
yes, we won't be getting them this time. Maybe if we can get our act together, we can get them later, but they don't want to get into the chaos that's been going on. So
Is that, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
no, I just, we'll just have to wait for him and he will let me know.
All right, so the next thing on our agenda is committees. Now, before I pass out the committee assignments, I've made a few changes to how the town has done this in the past. I'm going off of the charter and the charter alone. If it's not listed in the charter, I'm not assigning a chairperson to a committee. If we decide we want to change that as we review and investigate bylaws and things like that. I did exercise my right to create 2 ad hoc committees, which I'm going to pass these out in just a moment. Before I do that, I want to point out that every single seat has an updated book with the town code in it. These you can take home. There's a sheet. They're $50 if you don't turn them back in at the end of your term, because it costs us money to print these. As new codes are passed, those will be updated. So council will get a copy just to put in the back of your book as a new code. The other thing I want to point out, and a current set of bylaws is in there as well. So we can all start reading those bylaws, and
You asked me not to put them in because you were going to vote on them tonight.
you're right, but they are in your packet.
They're in the back of your binders.
Okay. So that we can start understanding what it is we're here to do. Now I'm going to pass out the committee assignments. I've done it a little bit different. I'm only appointing the chair to each committee. Each committee chair would be asked to select another member of council to work with them and a member of the public of those committees that are relevant to have a member of the public on them. For example, 90% of what personnel does is confidential. So having a member of the public on the personnel committee may not be a huge benefit. But when it comes to things like the Economic Development Committee, we can definitely bring in some of our business owners to be members of that committee and start hearing what our business owners are concerned about so that we can address those items as a council. I do not have the authority to give orders to anyone at this table, but I would strongly request that each chairperson come back in February with a minimum of 2 goals that they want to achieve within their committee and a schedule of when those committees will meet so that we can start putting a mission plan together. And we, as an entire council and the community that we represent, knows what we're doing and knows what our mission statements are. Does anybody have any questions on the committees as I've laid them out?
Can you read them?
Oh, yes, I sure can. Did you have that?
Go ahead, I'll do that
Okay.
after you read.
So first is the Streets Committee, chaired by Dr. Covert. The Police, Legal, Fire, and Rescue, chaired by Becky McGee. Water and Sewer, Michelle Covert. And in actuality, the two kind of are combined, but the charter separates them out, which is why I put them that way. Beautification and Litter will be Olivia Barrow. Can we correct the spelling of her name, though?
I didn't, I would have to have,
I mean, also that's not my legal last name, it's just McCarthy.
Okay, good job. Budget and Finance temporarily is going to be me. That's going to change. Economic Development would be Michelle Covert. Cemetery is Becky McGee. Personnel is me. Parks and Rec, or I'm sorry, Parks is Bernice. And then I have 2 new committees. And I'm going to make a change to what I said before. I am going to assign a secondary person on communication. But communication is going to work with the town manager and town clerk to be able to put together press releases, to be able to do a newsletter, things of that nature, so that we're getting information out to the public and they're not just wondering, what are we doing? I mean, what is our mission? So that communications committee, I have Bernice QB is chairing it. I am going to put Olivia as a secondary. And then the final committee is Charter and Bylaws Update, and that is myself and Michelle Covert. Now, anyone on council, anyone in the public can come to any one of these committee meetings and be a part of the discussion and a part of the growth of those responsibilities.
So with the committees, a few of these, well, most of these, the town manager, and sometimes the town treasurer and sometimes the town clerk will be in the meetings, but for the most part, the town manager will attend the meetings. We just need to, and I would ask that we have a calendar so that we know what the standing meeting is. I know that for water and sewer, we have a monthly meeting.
First Wednesday.
Right, first Wednesday.
And it's
Just so that we can get it on our calendar so that if staff needs to be there, we know we can adjust and plan our schedules accordingly. And is that, I guess, is it so that someone from staff is on these meetings and at these meetings? So So like some of them are staff related, right, are town administration related.
Right, so committees, period, chairs or otherwise, maintain a general supervision over the content to their committee. The town manager is the executive officer of the town. She executes, in this case, she executes the desires of council at a council meeting when we vote. So I would ask that council members who are chairing committees work with the town staff. Communicate, this is what I want, this is what the staff wants and needs, and
how we're gonna
somewhere in the
do
middle.
And each committee can be different.
Right, each committee is gonna be different, and
We all need.
some committees aren't gonna have static meetings, like the police and fire and rescue. I don't know that there's a necessity so much to sit and have a meeting.
I get my information through my contacts.
Right.
So
And you bring it in report.
I bring in what's going on, whatever.
Right.
So,
But if we expand your committee to include community, which would be churches and other events or
Yeah,
league or
well-
whatever, then you might need to meet with community.
yeah, well, I have asked to be a liaison between the Little League and the schools.
Right, so right now I'm just doing charter.
Yeah, because I do have ends with both of those.
Right.
So for the fire, police, legal, rescue, the fire department, I think, has a meeting the first Tuesday of every
They
month.
got one tomorrow night.
So I think if given the opportunity, I think that would be a good time for, whether it's town, whether it's the committee or the manager or whoever. I know you go and have attended some of them.
I don't go
think.
to the meetings.
Oh, you don't go?
But I know what's going on.
Well, so I think, anyway, my point is that it would be good for us to attend those. I have tried, but when the last ones that they had, I had a couple things that were already scheduled. So I'll try to attend them just so I can be there and meet them and maybe we can form a relationship. I would like to go with you, Becky, to one of them so that we can form a relationship with them and figure out how to work and maybe do more events in the town with them together.
Okay. All right, so again, I would ask that council committee chairs come back in the February meeting with 2 goals. A comprehensive plan is a great place to find those goals. So 2 goals so that we can start moving the ball forward. Let's look at the positivity. I am not, and it shows up on the agenda, but I am not appointing a liaison to the planning commission at this time. Our charter does not call for it. We have a zoning administrator and a town clerk who attend every planning commission meeting, and by charter and code, they're supposed to be a completely separate entity that is advisory to council. So if we're sitting in their meetings, what do they need to come and advise us on? So I'm not putting a planning commission meeting on. Next on the agenda is the schedule of meetings.
Or any meetings on the holidays.
No.
They're not.
No.
Okay.
The only one that
Right.
was
The 14th.
Juneteenth, and I think,
No, the. Mm-mm.
or maybe that might have
No, it was
been.
Columbus Day.
That was,
It was Columbus Day and you already moved it to Tuesday.
Yep.
So she's ahead of herself. Ahead of her.
So
She's on the ball.
this goes with the same schedule we've had for the past year, am I correct?
the second Monday, except for the one that was moved. Yep.
So I'll read the resolution. Resolution to establish the 2025 Town Council regular meeting schedule, resolution number 2025-2. Whereas the town charter 3.9 meetings of council states that the town council shall fix the time of their stated meetings, and whereas the meeting of the town council of the town of Mineral take place at the town hall located at 312 Mineral Avenue, Mineral, Virginia, 23117. It is therefore resolved by the council of the town of Mineral as follows. Approval of the following regular meeting schedule for the town council of the town of Mineral at 6:30 p.m. on the dates listed below. I'm not reading each one of those dates. I would look for a motion to approve.
Second. No. You got it.
Julia and Ms. McGee. The next item on the agenda is Town Hall DMV Select closings for the year.
I'd like to discuss that a little bit.
Sure.
Hold on, before we go, was it just a unanimous decision then for the closings? Thank you. Okay, sorry, Nicole.
No, that's fine. So we merged the two calendars together. There's Louisa County has days that we follow, the town has followed for years. But the DMV Select office is closed on days that the county is not, and we have to close those days because we do not have any support whatsoever for them. So we've merged those dates. The only one that really affects is November 4th, which was just the election day. I'm asking that we do something similar for 2025 for Christmas Eve. We're closed Thursday and Friday for the 25th and 26th. Following the Louisa County schedule. And I'm asking if we can close on the 24th, which is Christmas Eve. They have it closed at 1 p.m. It's totally your discretion. And then the second one would be, we went ahead and looked forward to 2026 to look at the dates. Wednesday, December 31st, is on the schedule, but I'm asking that we close at 1 p.m. and not be closed. And then to close the 1st and 2nd of January because it's Thursday, Friday, instead of being closed the 31st and the 1st and then coming in on a Friday. If you guys can take that, discuss it, talk about it, but those are my.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I motion to approve the holiday schedule 2025 as presented. Am I correct on that? As presented?
So we're closing the 24th of December and we are December 31st closing at 1 p.m. But then closing January 1st will already be closed and then but closing the 2nd.
To me, the second, you've got people with end of the year license that may have not gotten, and is the state closed that day?
No, but the year end is December 31st.
Okay.
That we're open till 1.
But January the 2nd, it's not, I don't see any reason why you can't come in.
And that's the one that.
And because DMV needs to be open for these people that.
That's a Friday. So we would be.
Last minute.
So the 2nd is a new year, so it's not a year end situation. We were gonna stay open till 1 p.m. on the 31st to accommodate, because that's Louisa's schedule, to accommodate any year end stuff. This year they actually worked later the day before. And then we're closed the 1st and then because that's already the new year closing and then close the 2nd, which is a Friday. Or it's up to you guys. We can just come back to work on Friday.
But if there's
The thing is, how are the DMV people driving to put another float?
You know, nobody else gets it. We can't give them everything.
We have to well advertise it so that people know that.
Right. And
But they do.
on our website, it would be.
Put it on our website, on Facebook.
I agree with Becky.
If it wasn't DMV, it might be a different thing, but with DMV being there and the state's open, I think that we need to accommodate.
Because we don't, well, let me say, we don't know if the DMV is closed because we have not checked their 2026 holiday calendar.
Can we table this till?
Well, why don't we say this? For
I do, but they probably haven't
Yeah, it probably
established their
isn't.
2026 calendar.
Why don't
This
we
was
save this
just,
for later
um,
and not make a decision for 2026 today.
So why don't we,
I don't mean to be
no,
bad, but I just.
you're not bad. It's,
I'm
it,
just,
I get it.
approve everything up to?
because we had complaints about DMV being closed like the day after Christmas. And I heard complaints, for that, not, well, for this year, of New Year's. Whatever, I don't know, there was some complaints about
Would it be a
DMV
problem
not
to
being
table this
open.
until next month?
So.
Well,
I
we
mean,
have, that's.
Yeah, I can approve it.
So here's just so the 2026 calendar has not been out for, as far as I know, I have not researched it for 2026. I will get with Kendra, the DMV manager, to see if that calendar is out, or even drafted at all. Probably not. We probably could table it. So we can leave, we'll just leave December 31st as 1 PM and not worry about the 26th until afterwards and close on the 24th.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
For right now, until we find out the calendar for 26.
Right.
Okay.
So I need a motion and a second.
Okay, so the motion is to approve it as
Amended.
amended for 2025.
Correct.
I motion that.
And a second.
We're
Okay.
approving the 26.
No, we're approving 2025.
Michelle?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's already approved because
Yeah.
of police.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. That is what you would.
No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
All right, and the next item on the agenda is to schedule the appointment of an interim mayor. We just need to schedule a date to allow for applicants to submit their resume and letter of interest, for council to review those candidates in a public meeting. And then 7 days from that, council can vote to appoint an interim mayor. So I guess we need to look at a calendar and figure out when.
Doesn't the charter say 45 days?
Yes,
From the
we have
third.
45 days from the third to.
So we'll
take
do
action.
it in less time, but I would like to give, because it's such a big position, give it a couple of weeks, for, not rush it, and just go ahead and put it out there and let people start,
I
consider.
would say, we are already having a meeting on the 21st. We're going to be here, and we have that meeting to review any interested candidates.
That's going to be an open town hall.
But it could be where they put their resumes for people to review.
Yeah, we wouldn't
that's
be
what I
voting
think.
on it. We would just be reviewing them.
That'd be that 7 day ahead thing.
Yep.
And then the
That's
next,
7 days from tomorrow, right?
right, but it has to be some days ahead of when we make our decisions. We won't decide that night, but the public could view.
Right.
And,
And
give
hopefully
us
we'll have a
feedback.
big turnout, so it'll be open and people will be able to hear who has expressed an interest.
Do we feel that?
What does it mean,
it's
appointment
sufficient
date?
notice for us to
Do
expect
we
that
meet
word
with
gets
each one
out?
individual?
I can wait.
no, they would just get up and say,
Guys.
Same thing as doing.
it's exactly like doing the other one.
Guys, Olivia was commenting.
I feel like 8 days is sufficient amount of time for us to get the word out and people to pull those things together and get them submitted.
Yeah.
In order for us to consider, then the 21st would not.
Well, that's a town hall and I don't think that you can do that at a town hall.
You know what I mean?
So then we would just be. Is the point.
So does anybody have a date in mind that they?
We could do this, what's the, February 10th.
Has it been put on our website?
What's no, because you have to vote on it.
Yeah, we have to vote on it tonight.
We ought to ask Mitchell when he can get it in paper.
It doesn't have to be in paper.
Well, I thought it did.
No.
So that we can make sure that it gets to as many people as possible. I think we should.
It would be there this Thursday, it'll be in the paper if we make a decision.
Can't you advertise it and can't we do it at the next meeting?
Yeah, very time.
Is that within And forgive me, within 45 days?
Yes, 30, that's 40 days. So that's cutting it too close.
So next meeting is February 10th.
No,
Right.
it's not enough time to give the 7 days. You have to do it.
Right, so we would have to review the applicants. And then 7 days later, minimum of 7 days later.
At midnight.
May I ask Vicky Hart a question? Since they just did it?
Sure.
What did y'all do? For for getting the new
There
mayor?
is, and you have an attorney,
I think.
there is a time limit.
Okay.
And you do have to give the
1, 2,
public
3,
notice
4, 5.
that there is an
So
opening.
does it include?
You give them a date, but you still have to meet that time limit. So we did it immediately, scheduled it, a date that all resumes had to be
Does it need
in
to-
by, say, Monday of
Is it-
whatever
does it
day.
include weekends?
Then we held also pre-scheduled a public hearing.
So it had to be a
any
public hearing.
application, you have to have a public hearing,
No.
We scheduled a public hearing because the public has to be able to see the resumes also. And then after the 6 days, there was another meeting, because the first one brought people the opportunity to bring them in, because some people handed them in. And then we met the following day, I guess the 7th day, and we voted.
Yeah, there has to be.
A public
Deadline
hearing
is
or not a
February
public hearing. That's a different sense.
Yeah.
So did y'all do an actual public hearing?
Yes.
And you advertised it in the paper?
Yes.
Correct.
Are we required to do a public hearing? And the reason I ask this is a public hearing costs a significant amount of money to put on when it comes down to advertising and all of that. So I don't want to waste money. Are we required a public hearing?
I'm looking,
A meeting.
24.2-228A, at least 7 days prior to making such interim appointment, body or board shall hold a public meeting in accordance with 2.2-3706.
Public hearing.
Yeah.
We take it as a hearing.
No.
You could allow public comment at that meeting. A hearing is where there's people that state that they want to apply for the position, and then the public is given a chance to comment on that specific item.
That's what we did.
And there's nothing to say that you couldn't do that, but it's not required by the code. You still need to have a meeting that meets all other requirements for the code, like agenda, notice, that kind of stuff. Like, it wouldn't have to be a hearing.
But if we did it on the 10th and then on the 17th, we voted, we would be within the 45 days by a day.
Right.
So if we want to
Yeah.
cut it that close, we can do
Right.
that.
Or you can move your February meeting up a day if you wanted to. A week, I mean. I moved it up.
So everybody knows, hold on, the 17th is President's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said if you wanted to move it up to the
Right.
3rd,
I think it would make sense for us to do. Schedule.
yeah, so do a meeting on the 3rd and then do your regular meeting on the 10th.
And since this is a pretty important thing we're doing, could we post whatever resumes or whatever we get for the mayor's position in the lobby so that the traffic that's coming through will see it? Because a lot of people in town are just not gonna know, and people get embarrassed coming in and asking to see who wants to be the mayor. So why can't we make it public? That way we get more advertising.
Can we,
I think we could put their name.
Personal information.
I think,
You don't have to put resumes, you do have to put in the agenda or otherwise advertise who is being considered for the role.
Again,
But I see what you're
getting it
saying,
out to the
getting it
public.
out to the public sooner than today. Right, is that
Right,
right?
we can black out personal information as long as we have names.
I mean, I think if we have. I guess the question is, where do we put it? We can make a list and put it out on the bulletin board or on the front door or on the treasurer's office window here with just their names.
we can put it on the door right here. These are closed during the day and we can make a sign, we can list it. the treasurer's window, it's for people come to pay their bills. It's really crowded. I don't want to. So we can set something up right here. We can maybe we can set the table out. We can list, we can do something.
Maybe their address, because that is a qualifier for the job, but you know, and.
You can't put, I don't think you can put their address out.
I don't think we need to,
public.
because everybody would know it has to be a town resident.
Right, they have to live in town, yeah.
But the more advertising we can get, the more it gets out around the community.
So we'll make sure that anyone, as they submit, they get added to that list.
Well, aren't we gonna have a cutoff date?
So that's what I was.
Oh, so are we supposed to be, no, I'm sorry. You said just keep adding them to the list. So should we create a list if we get multiple and then update the list each week or each day as we get them?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
I think if we, every couple of days, if we've gotten additional names in, we should update the list.
Okay.
I would just say if you're going to have the list, then you should say someone who's submitted be added to the list within 48 hours or close, just so it's uniform and not, hey, I wasn't added this time, or someone else is added quicker than me or something.
So can we say that within 48 hours, you guys?
Can we say 2 business days? So if it's over a weekend or we have inclement weather or something, then it's on.
Yeah, good point. So 2 business days. So that gives that takes care of the time frame scenario. So if we're gonna do the applications and candidate review on February 3rd, what do we want the cutoff to be? Do you want it to be February 2nd?
Friday, because the 3rd is Monday.
So that would be the 1st?
So Friday
March.
for the close of business on Friday?
That would be January 31st.
31st, sorry. Trying to do that without looking at the calendar. So deadline would be January.
Well, then that doesn't, it's up to you guys. Then have a whole weekend in between if somebody decides, I don't know.
Oh, you mean like noon on Monday?
What we typically been
That's
doing
good.
is by close of business, I think maybe 3 or 3:30. So I have time to get it updated for you guys on the day of.
On the day of.
So
Wow.
2 o'clock on February 3rd?
Fine
Yeah.
by me.
All right, do we need a motion for this, or it's just a consensus?
Yes.
Okay, so we're making a motion to accept applications until February 3rd at 2 p.m. Holding the public meeting to discuss applicants on February 3rd. Holding the meeting to appoint an interim mayor on February 10th. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
We'll go with Becky. So we'll start with Mr. Hempstead. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
I think also at the end of this, the town manager should just, collect up all the resumes, copies that are being given out, and just spread them. There's a lot of personal information in there that.
Yep.
After we make our decision, it doesn't be floating and get left, that kind of stuff.
Well, a resume doesn't have to have contact information for past employers and things like that. It can be a little more general.
It can be, but we don't know what people are putting in, what they're gonna put on.
Exactly. I agree. All right, up next, we have, and I apologize, there's a lot on tonight's plate, so we're trying to move as quick as we can, but next up is the treasurer's report.
Yep. It's in your packet. If you want to look at it, go through it, have questions.
When we are looking at the budget versus actual.
Yep.
Okay, beautification is way over budget.
Yep.
That's a world.
I know. So I have something better. So with the new system, just so everyone is kind of aware and understands, the new system that we implemented, we have to create object codes that go with budget items, like beautification is a budget item, streets and beautification is what it's called. And it's a budget item. And then in that item, there are different objects that go with that. What happened is, but beautification itself is a miscellaneous budget code, $3,000. In the new system, streets and beautification as a whole has 3 or 4 different object codes that are in there. And we, Kelly, treasurer, has to code them appropriately in the established object codes. So what we're going to start doing every month is going back through the budget. We're not moving money, asking for new money, but we're making sure we're doing transfers. So you'll start to get a transfer report that shows how we're moving money within the budget, not getting new money, within the budget to take care of some of those, because we want to make sure we're tracking what we're spending appropriately. So that being said, the reason why it went over is because Harper Electric was hired they're always hired every year to hang the snowflakes and put the stuff up. Well, we asked them this year to do that. We bought some extra brackets. We had extra snowflakes left from last year that didn't get hung. So in trying to make everything, all of our Christmas stuff up, he hung all of them. So we had to order brackets. He also gave us electricity outside for us to plug things in. So lights along the fence, on the light poles. So that charge was, $3,300 altogether for what he did for us. And then it also includes stuff for the Christmas tree lighting. So that number increased because everything went to that budget code. What we'll do for the next budget season is we'll prepare a budget that maybe breaks out those object codes and beautification and really defines them. This is for the tree lighting. This is for, events in the park. This is for this. So we'll start to do that. But this is us diving in and really understanding our new system.
That's good. Are the council and managers office, are we looking at, we've already done 105,000 of the 171,000. So in 6 months, we only have 66,000 more to go. So are we going to be going over that amount? Will be, won't we?
I have to look at the breakdown and look at the numbers of what's coded to that. We have not gone through and dove in each month to look at the transactions that were. So right now you have percentage used is 61% of the budget.
All right, and the same thing.
And that budget includes not just a manager's expense or council expense, like there's line items in there for that. So, for example, your beautification code. Let's see. So let's look at council and managers. There's different object codes. There's a miscellaneous code, membership dues, conference and training, town insurance, which was $15,000. We paid $7,000, almost $8,000 of that. There's my compensation, council compensation, professional services is under that. So there's different line items under that.
Okay, so it isn't just council and there's other stuff. So we may be moving these around to make that more clear later.
Well, I mean, these are the lines. So it's possible that we can break these line. We give you a report that breaks the line items out a little better so you can see exactly what they are.
And this year we have a better chance of apportioning it better now that we understand it better, because we kind of guessed last year, right? Yeah. So this year we can make better.
Yes. Yes.
And the same thing for town hall, town garage expenses. This looks like
we've used
only 10,000, or 9,000 some more. It's all we can spend in the next 6 months.
Right.
But wouldn't that fall under the general bucket of Capital improvement?
The garage?
Yeah.
Town hall and the garage.
To repair things, right?
So the way the financial system is broken out is it gives you a fund, like, so 100 is a general fund, and inside that fund, you have council and town manager, you have clerk and treasurer, which that's a lot of the admin, right? There's like the copy expenses, the power bills, all that stuff. And then you have, town hall and garages, which is related to, the building, or it could be oil. I don't know. I have to look in here. And then there's public works, and then there's water and sewers, completely different fund. And then cemetery is a different fund. So those are different. So Fund 100 includes different divisions. So council member is division, public works is division, clerk treasurer is division, town hall garage is division of Fund 100. So we would have to look to see where those funds, what the.
But we're all in the overall allocation
Yeah.
within budget.
Yeah.
It's just separate.
Yeah. So there's 5 different funds, and Fund 100 includes all the operations, right?
Right.
Fund, I think it's 200, or I think it's cemetery, or that might be water, or 500 is water. So there's a 100, a 200, and a 500.
So some of these will be out of total and some will be under. But
they're
general.
But the job is, now that we have established these and we're trying to get these bills paid correct, in the correct order and with the correct account, the job now is to go back and say, where do I have to transfer money? Because it could be that something got paid in an account that it was supposed to get paid in, but we did not allocate the money in that account. It's over here in public works, when really it probably should be moved to streets because it's a beautification thing. So we have to transfer the money, but we can definitely get a better printout so that it explains more.
Yeah, and the revenues is what money has come into
Yep.
us year to date.
Yes.
$2,227.
It is not accurate.
It's not accurate.
That is not accurate. I'm sorry, can I?
Yes, absolutely. Kelly.
So this is a steep learning curve with the new system. And I have not been at 100% for the last 3 months. So I'm learning, and I'm spent the better part of 2 days getting this month's revenue fairly accurate to the best of my ability. Now I need to backtrack and make sure that everything else has been accounted for and is in the right buckets. And so this is not correct. The revenue amount is not correct. I should have.
That's okay. That's okay. Nope, that's fine.
Okay. We have.
I knew that. I knew that.
Where it's been
Yeah.
allotted on paper, but the money's there. It's
Yeah.
just where it was stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's happening is, because we're still dealing with our audits, again, we're like 2 paper copies away from finishing the audit 2022, just having to find the information. Moving into audit for 2023, which will go much smoother, and 24 will go very fast, because we have all the paper and records put together. Kelly has gone back in with the new system and taken our bank statements and looked at all the money that we're getting from the state that gets put into the funds, the payments that are made online, the money that they're collecting at the front. And that goes in whatever's in the bank, and then what we collect goes into our revenue account. She's taking the bank statements and the money that's coming in automatically, she's uploading that into the system. And then everything she's taking at the window gets put into the system the same day that she enters it. So she's reconciling these bank statements as we go along. So we're trying to build the system kind of backwards but forward. So we're trying to fill in the statements at the same time we're still collecting money and taking and making payments on and paying our accounts payable. So we're trying to do that as fast as possible.
These reports, thank you. These are great. These are very helpful.
The summary of bank balances that's well, it's numbered as page 22.
Where is it?
But that's very accurate with the date.
Yep, that's as of 12/31. That,
Certainly.
yep. Mhm.
All right, any other questions on that report?
Yep. So there was a report in there that was with your budget that we'll talk about in the water and sewer updates, but it's in here, so I want to explain it since that's where it's located. Monthly water consumption. So the treasurer went back and through the system and got the periods of time for the monthly water consumption. I want to point out, you know, as a whole, staff as a whole, you know, working with the maintenance, working with our contractor, working with Virginia Rural Water, fixing the leaks that we had in the town. It shows you that June to July, we had a 45% water loss. July to August, it went down to 20. August to September, it was up to 27. So there was another leak that happened somewhere. But September to October and then October to November, we're down to 12% water loss. So that is amazing for us. We spent all summer long trying to find these leaks and fix them along with everything else and learning the system and all of that. So I wanted to bring that to y'all's attention, to also, Kelly, not to put you on the spot, but didn't you say like this last month for water was the first month that we had a surplus? And so the terminology is surplus because that money goes back into the water account to fix and repair anything else that needs to be done. So that's just to inform everyone.
And I don't know that we really need to do, well, we're going to do a brief, but our committee doesn't need to do one. I mean, it's
No,
not
yeah,
there, but I just want to mention that we talked with Virginia Rural Water and that anything less than 15% loss is considered stellar, it's like an A+, and that he was just blown away that we could do that and do it in such a short period of time. So our staff really needs to do this.
Great job. Any other questions on financial or water sewer? All right, so we'll move on to the DMV report.
It's in the packet. For December, the revenue total was 35,566. And you can read the packet. Jessica Osborne is promoted to supervisor. That's to just establish kind of, you know, our backing for the manager. Yep.
It's lower than we, you know, we had had. Is there like a season for you? Maybe like summer is a higher season and then the winter is a lower season from a revenue standpoint?
We could do a chart probably. We have historic numbers that we could do. I want to add that we're using, I think at this time, more accurate numbers for our reporting where the numbers were slightly inflated because it was said that DMV, that we get 5%. That's not true. There is in the contract, it's 3% for the first 500,000, I think, and then a 1% for the next 250. We'll have to pull the contract, but anyway, the contract state it's not 5%. It's not strict 5%. It moves up to like a 4%, almost 5% when you reach $1 million, and then it's 1% after. So that's where we are. So the more money you bring in, the less percentage you're going to get, right? After 500, after $1 million. So just because we see that it's not large doesn't mean that they're not really busy, because they are.
No, and I was just wondering if, you know, either
The
we
season.
lost some of this, or if this is just a low season where we don't get a lot of titles and whatnot, and, and then we may have a big rush next. When the
Yeah.
season gets warm, we may have to add more.
And this is,
When do we get a lot of boats and boat trailers?
Oh, yeah.
Spring, because everybody's buying them, so that kind of
Yeah.
picks up some business at.
We'll start to see more
Okay,
after
good.
January.
So then we shouldn't worry when it goes down. And these numbers are kind of apple and oranges with the old numbers. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions on the DMV report? All right, moving right into the manager's report.
So I typed something up just to, because I want to just keep it, I want to read it and just go through it. So calendar time and appointments, I'm just going to read this and, we're always here to help. We as staff, for the town have many tasks that we do each day to ensure that the town operates as it should. We ask that if someone needs to speak with a staff member to please make an appointment, which everyone has been good about. I bring this up because we're getting constantly people coming in, which we do not care. That's not at all. But if there's something that needs to be discussed or is going to take longer than like a 20-minute discussion, it may take 30 minutes to an hour. We just ask for an appointment because we don't want to cut anyone off as a citizen or as a council member if we have a meeting that we have to attend or what have you. So we do ask that. You guys saw the bonus breakdown. If there's any questions, we can talk about that. You have in your packet at the dais this supplemental insurance. This company came and visited with us last week. Because you all are town council and you receive commission or compensation for that, you all are also eligible for the supplemental insurance. It's not, the town does not pay for this insurance. It strictly is paid by you, the council member or staff. So this is insurance that's being offered to the town. We're supposed to have a meeting with them on Wednesday, but it probably won't be until next week. I'll keep you updated though. Read through it. It looks pretty good to us. It seems to have a lot to offer. So I want to share that. Water usage, we went over already. If you guys have questions about it, please let me know. Again, our water loss, we're down, so that's amazing. I wanted to mention that Scott McNally, who is with Virginia Rural Water, he's setting up a meeting with a hydrogeologist, which is going to come out and speak with us, and the committee has been informed, to speak with us about our pumps, about, maybe revitalizing them, seeing what we can do for a water source. Look at our wells. Apparently this person, and I have a relationship with him. He does not know that yet because we owned a store and he came and did our well at the store. He does not know it's me he's meeting with, but he was telling Scott that they had wells that they went and looked at and that had been inactive for 40 years that they were able to get up and running again. So we're bringing him on board to meet and discuss what all we can do. And they'll give us a quote and let us know what that is, and I'll bring that back to council. The budget. So the budget process is going to start. We're not as big as the county, so we'll start pulling our numbers together. We'll meet. I want to make sure that the budget gets done. It has to be done by June. I would like to have it done before then. Kelly and I now have a really good idea of how that's supposed to look and what to expect. So, and with our new system, it's easier for us to pull numbers and look at forecasts. So we'll have that. We'll get that working. The Mineral Planning Commission is going to wants to discuss like long range planning for the town, wants to talk about capital improvements, wants to go over what the town has, what things need to be revitalized and go through that. The Planning Commission, I think, Rob, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they take kind of initiative to kind of set forth that and then pass it to council. So that's capital improvements planning process. So we'll be looking at that this month a little bit, and passing it to you guys. Audits, the auditors, again, I've discussed this a little bit. We're still working with auditors. You know, it's now, and we're going into another tax season. So it's been very hard and difficult to find some of the paperwork. No offense to anyone, but we've been, you know, trying to get that to the auditors. We followed the audit book from 2021 to try to make sure we know what the information they're looking for. We've worked with them. We're working with them diligently. So we again have a couple more documents to send. Some that we sent weren't exactly up to par. So we're working with them to get those sent over.
The question.
Yep.
Are we not able to get grants yet because of the audit?
I don't know that that's true, but that could be. We haven't.
It just depends on which ones.
Well, I have not been told that, and we have not applied for a grant. There are grants out there for water line replacement, so that's something that we'll be looking into. But I have not been given that information. We have not applied for a grant since I've been here, except for water grant, and we got that one. So
Yes.
Depends on if it's federal and loan based, because that's based on our loan.
Yeah, I think we ought to sign up for every grant we could get.
I agree.
yeah,
You know, we need
Agreed.
street stuff out there. We need a whole bunch of stuff. And we could use the grants.
yep. I'm working with BDOT on some programs to help with our street stuff.
That'd be great.
Okay, fee structure, as we move into the budget season, the town's fees, besides the water rates, we need to address those for just application purposes. With all the development that's going on in the town or the attraction of development that we've seen, we need to look at our surrounding counties and localities to look at their fee schedules and maybe adjust some of our fees that we are charging for these applications. I'll put something together to share with you guys.
When would we be looking to review those fees?
During our budget.
During the budget
So,
process?
yeah, yeah.
So it's not like a motion?
No, I wanted to put it out there so that you guys know that this will be happening. If there's questions or things that you guys want to bring up to us for budget, like we can do that ahead of time and then it'll be in the packet. Okay, zoning and property. So I wanted to just update everyone related to the PUD. We're navigating the process of the application that was submitted. And we'll be sending out a letter soon to this individual, to the applicant. So we will, once that's done, I'll come back and give an update on that. The old school property. So Mr. Morgan plans to be here this week at some point to start clearing off the property. Wanted to let you know that there is the sales contract on the unimproved land that's listed in your packet. If you have questions, I can answer them.
I know one concern that's been raised, I'm going to ask a question for you. One concern that's been raised is the status of bankruptcy. We have a document that shows that it is out of bankruptcy and pretty clear.
We are not in possession of a document.
Okay.
We have the dismissal order for this bankruptcy case now. Free and clear is a different term than in or out of bankruptcy. Free and clear generally relates to title, which I believe we're still waiting on the title report, or we have.
Right now, the title agent that we're using says that the only thing that's on the land is the lien that the town put on. And we've discussed leaving that there until closing so that we can take it off. And that has been communicated. The title company knows where we stand with that. So once everything is signed, that lien then gets taken off.
But we won't get the money. We won't get the 35.
The lien money.
The lien money.
We are paying $75,000 for the property that's valued higher than that.
No, there's almost $40,000 of interest on that lien. The lien is actually worth about $75,000.
This is the contract that was negotiated.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Mr. Sproul, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but since that lien is on the deed, when the trustee dismissed, wouldn't they have had to inform the town that the bankruptcy was dismissed?
Since the lien is on the deed. Sorry, I'm not. I guess the question is, would the town have needed to have been notified if?
Trustee should have noticed us because we are a creditor against that deed.
Should have is a good way to put it, but whether they do or not depends on a number of factors. Whether an appearance was entered on the town's behalf, whether there was anything done within the case by the town. So you can be listed as a creditor, but you'll get certain notices, but you wouldn't automatically get every notice or notice of dismissal if you weren't involved.
In my experience, the trustee on any bankruptcy is required by law, federal law, to notify all creditors on that bankruptcy if the bankruptcy is dismissed. That is federal law.
So did we get notice or not? I'm not.
It was.
The reason I'm asking the question is if we did not get notice, then there's a question about whether that bankruptcy was dismissed.
I saw the order today that dismissed it, sir.
I'd like to see the order too.
I'm happy to provide that, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I have not seen a letter come through the office. We had an attorney, our prior attorney was taking care of researching the bankruptcy and handling that. If that notice was given, I do not have anything in my possession.
The road that I'm going down in that hole is since the closing company is not doing the closing, we're handling it directly with Morgan.
We're not handling it directly.
yeah.
We have a title company and a closing company that's doing everything. That's why.
Why does it say that we pay Morgan direct when any money is exchanged would have to go through the closing company? And that would mean that they would have to satisfy.
We have a title company that's satisfying. It cannot be done if there is something on the title.
Right.
Right. We're not just handing him money.
There's a closing company that it's all processing through.
They would have to deal with the lien at the same time.
That's what I just communicated that.
You're the lien holder.
Right.
And we've asked
you have to get rid of that lien. You have to apply to the court to release the lien.
They're handling all that. So I spoke to the lady at the titling company.
They're taking it. It has to go through court.
You've got to let her answer the question.
I'm sorry.
In speaking with the representative at the title company, she said that I explained the situation. We don't want to give up the lien until we know the documents are fully signed and we own the property, correct? We don't want to do that. We don't want him to sign off and then pull out and we don't have it and then our lien is gone. So they understand that the lien stays until we own the property. They know how to do that in their office. This isn't the first time that the title company has done this. So they are going to take that and be responsible for once that happens, now the lien gets removed. All that documentation paperwork will be in the closing documents.
Okay. Another question. Has Mr. Morgan been paying property taxes all these years? Or is he in arrears?
We would have to do research on that because our record keeping has been manual and we do not have anything that allows us to populate a tax document for one person. The only thing that we get is a book of business, is what I call it, from the county that gives our personal property and real estate assessment. We upload that to our bill printing company and they print the bills, we verify it, and that's it. The bills do not have any historic or delinquent late payments, anything on there. We have a book that we have to go through and verify for all the years, that if someone has paid or not. That's manual, so we'd have to look at that.
This is why I was asking you if we might go into closed session to discuss this. Because I think there are options where we would get that property and not have to pay Morgan anything.
And we can,
All I'm saying.
we can do that and talk legal advice. We can go into close if you want to tonight and discuss that to get legal advice. That's,
What I'm saying is,
yeah.
Is it possible for us to step back and take a breath?
So there's always room to step back and take a breath. If council allows it, I will entertain a very short leash on what we discussed when we go into closed session tonight. The first raised voice, and it's done.
That's fine.
So we'll discuss this at closed session some more.
His suggestion.
Okay.
So it'll get proposed.
And my wife would be.
We would have to,
She's the one that knows because she's parallel.
My husband may be good on something else, but I don't
So
know him on.
we need to add it to whatever motion we read. Right now, we're only going in for A7 to talk about one specific thing. So if we're doing it, I just need to know in advance so I can read it on my motion.
Right there. So legal advice regarding purchase of real estate.
Yeah.
I don't know what that.
It's.
How would that be a problem? He's a paralegal.
Doesn't matter what closed session, we have a lawyer that we pay a lot of money
Do
for.
everything up to.
Okay.
We have an attorney. I'm trying to give you some leeway here.
I'm not
We
raising.
have an
my voice.
attorney that we pay an excessive amount of money to, no offense. We have an attorney for that reason.
Okay.
We're going to rely on the advice of our attorney.
Okay.
Can I-
No, ma'am.
No,
Excuse
sit
me.
down.
Why do we?
I'm not
need to
done.
close
I'm
session?
manager
Let's
report.
Discuss it.
We're still in the manager's report.
All right. One more update on property is Miller's Market. So I'm waiting to hear back from VDOT, and that's just the update. They have done it. I guess they're doing a traffic analysis, or maybe they've done one because there were cameras out there and there were people surveying the parking lot and doing all of that a few months ago. I have not heard anything back. I have not heard from them. So I'm still waiting until I hear back from VDOT. I personally can't do anything with their conditional use permit. So I'm waiting. As far as I know, they're following what was asked of them to follow.
Do you know that they're selling it?
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yes,
So how do you know they're selling it?
because one of my best friend's wife manages the store. And she's already been talking to the owners and they're selling it to another family.
Does the
I think I know
conditional
who it
use
is.
permit transfer owners?
Yes.
It does. So it
Thank you, Rob.
transfers with the property, not. So they don't have to reapply.
Well, I always say to tell you guys, it depends, but it would depend on specific terms. CUP, generally, yes, it would transfer unless there was some abnormal condition.
We're just waiting on it got approved. So by council saying that they would approve it, but I could not approve their zoning permit to build their gas pumps or whatever they're doing. I think it's gas pumps to build that because I had to get VDOT's to look at everything that's around it for their entrances and so on.
Yeah, the CUP wouldn't absolve them of the other requirements they would need, like zoning permit or VDOT sign off, health department, whatever it is, they still have to go through that process.
That's that update. And now let's. I had a citizen come in the office to talk about the mail service in town. This citizen has come into my office a couple times as they pay their water bill to talk about mail service. They would like for the council to know that now that we have a Representative McGuire in Louisa, that we need to contact him and tell him that they need to start delivering mail to the houses. I just want to put it on record that I believe that the post office has nothing to do with us, but I believe they're working on this for the town.
What, the post office?
I think there's
The law that if everybody lives within 1 mile of the post office, they don't have to deliver, and it's been that way for.
I know, I think, but I,
100 years.
You get a free box. So it
Yeah.
doesn't cost you.
I don't know. There was some talk about maybe they're working on trying to get a delivery person. I don't know.
They can put my mailbox up.
I think another part to that was that we didn't have, houses aren't buying GISs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
If
They
you
are
go
now.
in.
Yeah, they are now.
They are now.
And if you order,
Yeah.
if you order from Amazon, a lot of times they say non-deliverable.
Yeah, I can't get delivered to
So
my.
we can't find you on the map, I'm there.
Yeah, I can't get delivered to my house. It needs to be a nothing ship.
Okay, so there's a second part of the manager's report, and I apologize. I wanted to get these in to you guys. These are quotes. Apple Door System is just to let you know that we're getting a garage door so that we can close the open space at the building that's at the Whitlock Family Park. So that's there. That quote is through Apple Door System. Also wanted to let you guys know, I see the bill too says Town of Mineral. It should be a comma between there for farmers market. It's just, that's what's listed out there. So that's how they labeled it, but it's paid to it's through the Town of Mineral. It's not to the farmers market. Right. So this was the garage door. And that will be done.
Could you ask them if they can reinstall a door? Because when I inspected the building, there is a door inside the building that was taken down.
They came out and looked at the building, and I was asked to get a new door put on. So that's what I did. The second quote is through Bowman. Bowman is the company that we use to do our lead and copper, got our grant, did our inventory. Mm-hmm. This quote is for basically asset management and long range planning for our water system infrastructure. So to get our water lines and everything onto GIS, and then allowing us to add notes and, update the system when we replace a line, when we repair a line, whatever, so that we have it all in one place, along with planning out life cycles for our water lines. This is a quote. It doesn't have to be decided tonight, but this is something that I think the town should look into. I think it's needed for us to be able to understand our infrastructure and to make sure that our infrastructure is well kept and that we're putting the money where it needs to be.
I was going to add that rural water strongly recommended the asset management because this is our town's greatest asset. And because it has life and death consequences, that it's where we should put our money first. And then, first was stopping the leaks, actually, and then managing our assets, and then doing the actual action part of this, just the intellectual part.
We see what happened in Richmond with the water.
Yep.
Look at California.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
it's most important.
And it's promising we may get a well back. I mean, there's just so much going on, and it's really just been.
But we don't
wonderful.
want any of that happening.
No, and if we do get our wells, we can add those to this system.
management, yeah.
This is something that we'll be able to do. We have GIS already for our meters. It's just developing the ARC system to include our water lines, which is they're willing to do. They helped us do that part of it. So it's $32,000. It, includes just looking at all of our maps, getting everything on the system, working with, Hank, our maintenance guy to understand our water lines and where everything is. I wanted to say we did get accepted for our inventory testing, so we are fully getting our grant money, the $100,000 back. So we did get that letter. So some of that could go for this.
We used that money, some of that money, we got our GIS system out of there.
Yeah.
It was just a nice thing.
So, Nicole, talk to me about implementation. So let's, for a moment, decide that we're gonna do this.
Mhm.
What are we talking about? Once we vote to approve this expenditure, when do we see the actual work start to happen?
So it'll start immediately so I'll do several meetings with them. We'll get on the system. I'll scan maps. I'll get the as-built over to them. I'll pull together everything that we have and I'll work with them each week. They're on the back end doing everything.
So what would you say a timeline for council to make a decision on this expenditure? Because you said, it's not something we need to discuss or vote on tonight. When would you suggest that we?
I wanted to give you guys chance to look at it and read it and understand it, because I realize I'm giving it to you right at the meeting. It would be good to do it at the next meeting if we could. I know there's a lot on your plate. It's something that I think I'm feeling strongly about, only because I feel like the town needs to have some type of support for their asset management to understand it.
Sure.
We're not going to be here in years in the future. So having that established already and knowing what needs to be fixed or replaced and doing that and building out a capital improvements fund for the water and for the buildings that we own, that's something that I've been wanting to do since I got here. So this is just the next step. It would be nice to have it done at the next meeting. If you want to do it, you don't have to do it. I can, work with the GIS system that we have and try to develop it myself, but having them do it and what they understand is great.
Is council comfortable with putting this on next month's agenda?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
And once we spend this 32 and they get it all set up, are we gonna do the adding as it goes along?
Yeah.
Or will they need another contract?
No,
We'll do it.
we can do it because it's a tutorial. It trains you on how to update your system. It's pretty easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Stephanie, can we make sure this gets added?
That's all for me.
Oh, that's all? All right, next thing on the agenda is acting knowledge report. You'll see in the folder, you'll see three pieces of paper at the end where we're going to try to do, starting with next month's agenda, is be a little bit more organized on what actions are being requested of council. So there'll be a cover sheet and a motion record that's going to go with each motion that's made, so that when our clerk is typing up minutes, she's got a motion record right there. The second page that you're looking at is an agenda item report. That's really, so let's say that Becky wants to add an item to the agenda. Instead of just emailing Stephanie and saying, add water, we understand, we're having a conversation. We understand what it is that, I'm just using it as an example because you're here. That, Becky wants to discuss the water bill for the fire department and that we need to make a resolution to clean up the previous resolution to pay for the water, so that we know what we're looking at prior to us sitting at the table and we have some time to digest as we're reading our packet the several days beforehand. So you'll put in here your background, your discussion, your recommended. What are you looking for? What are you asking council to do with the item you're putting on the agenda? So these can be worked, you can work with staff for every item that you're putting on, asking, requesting to be added to the agenda, so that when Stephanie compiles the agenda like we have tonight, it's complete. And we know what we're
Covering. She will send us some plates.
Other than that, as far as a acting mayor's report, it's been an honor for the last several weeks to really kind of take a different perspective and hear out the members of council as I've listened to their concerns and their passions from a different point of view. Because I'm not hearing it as a council member, I'm hearing it as the acting mayor. And how can I help you achieve that goal and guide our council into the next steps? So it's really been an honor. So I want to thank you all for spending the time on the phone with me and
2 hours.
right, and really kind of reinforcing that we all are here for the right reasons. And sometimes it's not what happens at this dais. It's not sometimes the outburst, but it is the passion, it is the desire, it is the goals. So I want to commend the members of council this evening and staff that have really spent a long time putting together a complete packet with passion and desire to really see this town move forward. So I appreciate that.
We appreciate all your hard work and certainly the staff's hard work in prepping for this, because we were, got short notice on our mayor.
Right.
And we understand it's a lot of work to take over. So thank you. Thank you. Did a good job.
All right, so next thing on the agenda is the town hall meeting. So that is the 21st. It starts at 6:30. We are looking for input. We're looking for townspeople and interested parties to come in and ask us questions, get some information, find out what's going on. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your neighbors. We are asking that you, if you have a specific question that you feel like is going to need some research, send it to us sooner so that we have the time and we can have the information available for those questions. I think that's important so that we can maintain that transparency.
You don't have to give the questions ahead of time.
You don't have to, no. Because it'll be open dialogue, it'll be open conversation. It's going to be a little loud, I think, a little confusing. So we're going to try to regulate how long people are speaking. We're going to definitely conduct some even keels, even tones, calm demeanors. But it is truly going to be a dialogue. It is going to be a two-way street. You're going to be able to speak with council members and staff and ask questions, get answers. And we'll be able to find out what those concerns are in the public so that we can start putting some direction to what we're doing.
This is what I've wanted for a long time. Before I got elected, I told people I want to do a town hall.
We're all excited. I think it'll be a good,
It's going to be
a good two-way conversation, and we hope you have good thoughts and questions.
Yeah, this was one of my campaign whatevers to do this.
Yeah.
And I don't need a question here. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you I can't answer it. If I can answer it, I'll answer it to the best of my ability. That's just how it is.
So we're looking forward to that town hall meeting again on the 21st at 6:30. After that, our regularly scheduled meeting will be February 10th.
February 3rd.
But we're doing the mayoral application review on the 3rd and then appointment on the 10th. All right, now, I don't know about anybody else. I need a 5-minute before we go into closed session. So I'm going to go ahead and recess for 5 minutes. Let's make our 5-minute closer to 10, fewer than 20.
Do you give now what we're going to close up?
No. Anyway, promise. We're gonna read out the reason for closed session. Stephanie, you're on.
In accordance with section 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the town council convene in closed meetings to to consult with legal counsel on a matter of actual litigation which the town is involved, namely Mr. Sacra.
Safer.
And in accordance with section 2.2-3711A8, I move that council convene in closed session to consult with legal counsel on a specific legal matter regarding the purchase of real estate requiring the provision of legal advice by counsel.
So made.
Second.
And we'll go.
Given that literally nobody about to hear and Phil's suggestion earlier, do you have to hear what Tracy has to suggest?
So we have a solution or a potential
Excuse
solution.
me, no, they don't care, we'll just do it a different.
Okay.
We have a potential solution for that. So I just need a vote.
Yes.
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 Okay.
We are now in closed session with the recording.
I certify that I am the clerk of council of the town of Mineral and that the foregoing is a true, that is not what I read to you guys. I move that council certify that in closed session just concluded, nothing was discussed except the matters specifically identified in the motion to convene in closed session and lawfully permitted to be discussed under the provisions of FOIA or Virginia Freedom of Information Act cited in that motion.
Mr. Hanson. I so certify.
Or,
I so certify.
I'm so sorry.
I so certify.
I so certify.
Thank you.
Before we entertain a motion to adjourn, I just want to real quick run through a reminder. Everybody sign your acknowledgements to your code book. Let's get those back to Stephanie this evening before we leave. Don't forget committee chairs, select another community member and have your goals for the February meeting. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
okay.
I'll take the telephone a second.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You're okay. You look so sweet, like this. When you get home.